Good afternoon, Stafford families. This is Mr. Hicks, your principal, coming to you. And today we're going to discuss some important things on our return to school 4 days a week for hybrid students that is going to happen on April 20th of 21. So that is coming very quickly. Our team wanted to come together with you today to discuss some important things that will help you as a parent, family member, and your student be ready to return to school if they are a hybrid student. I'm going to start off with some very important points. First, those students that are hybrid will go 4 days a week. That means that currently they are going 2 days a week. They will have to choose 4 days a week. We have gotten some questions about students wanting to come 2 days a week and not 2 days a week. That is not going to be allowed. So if the student comes in the building, they have to be 4 days a week. Mondays will remain asynchronous days as usual. Also, for students that are virtual, they will have to contact the school or email the school that they would like to go on the hybrid list. We have a process we have to follow. This is very important as we need to know which students are in the building and how many students are in each classroom. So if you're currently all virtual, you'll need to email the school and let us know that you're interested, and we will put you on a waiting list for you to come back to school. We've had to do this earlier this year when we came back for 2 days a week, and the waiting list did go pretty quickly, but we had a process that all of our assistant principals did to make sure that that process was fair for all students and families. We have a lot of other topics we're going to cover today. First, I'd like to introduce Mr. Diggs, one of our assistant principals, who's going to talk about some things involving the schedule and lunch.
Hi, students and families. This is Mr. Diggs. I am one of the assistant principals at Stafford High School, and I help supervise students with the last names G through N. With that, we are changing from 2 lunch shifts that was currently shared with you to 3 lunch shifts. And the reason for the change is that we will have more students on campus now because we are essentially combining the students from Group A and Group B together to create one group. Students will still remain 6 feet apart and have assigned seats at lunch with overflow in the gymnasium. With that, because we have limited seating due to students being 6 feet away from one another, we have to have another lunch shift. A new lunch schedule is being developed, the times will be adjusted, and that new lunch schedule will be sent out to our students' families and staff for you to understand. With that, please make sure that when students come to lunch, they attend the correct lunch that they've been assigned to. That may change depending on which class they're taking if they do have a year-long schedule, but we do ask that students sit in their assigned seat for the lunch for the day that they're here. It would be either X or Y for those in a year-long. That may change slightly, but for the most part, students will have the same assigned seat. And then from there, please make sure the student remains seated in their seat for the entire lunch. And we also ask that you help our housekeeping staff out, that once the bell rings to go back to Block 2, since lunches take place at Block 2, that you throw away the trash around your area to help keep the areas clean. And next, we'll talk with Dr. Quinn, who's going to be talking about masks, sanitizer, directional arrows, and our buses.
Hey, good afternoon or good morning, students and families. Yes, this is Chris Quinn, Dr. Quinn, they call me. You guys have been doing a great job with masks and social distancing. So I would like to remind you to continue to do so because we're going to have bigger numbers in the building. And if you've been paying attention, you know that COVID is still a problem and we want to lower the risk of infection. So we would like you to wear your mask. I'll demonstrate. You all know how to wear your mask. They should be covering your nose, right? Okay. You've been doing a great job with that. Also, when you get off the bus, we'll continue to take your temperature with this thermometer. And also, if you're coming in out of the student parking or the drop-off at door 27, they'll be checking for masks and also taking temperature every morning. So we're excited about having more students in. I'd also like to remind you about the sanitizers, to use those every block, okay? as often as you can. We have more of those. We have them in the classrooms, and some of them give you a little squirt, some of them give you a little dab. I like the squirts myself, but they both are very effective. Also, I'd like to tell you about the directional arrows. Follow those. They're in the hallway, and all the flow is counterclockwise. So if you come in the center stairwell and you're on the second floor, and say you have Spanish and A209 with Miss Lansford, then you would go counterclockwise all the way around to her classroom, and that's kind of the pattern on all three levels in the academic wing. And it's very important with more numbers in the hallways to keep the flow going. Don't stop and talk, because somebody behind you will come into your space, and we want to maintain that 6 feet. So just continue to walk and keep the flow going and follow those directional arrows. Okay, thank you for listening. And now we have Miss Elliott, who has some important information to share with you as well.
Good afternoon. My name is Miss Elliott. I'm one of the other assistant APs. I supervise A through F, and I'm going to go over the classroom. With the classrooms, the changes are that the desks no longer have to be 6 feet. The governor has let us know that the changes can be from 3 to 6 feet. So now that we are having more students in the building at the same time by merging both groups, the desk may be a little bit closer to each other. One thing to remember is when you are in the hallway to have your mask on at all times in the classroom and in the halls. And when we say mask on, we mean covering your nose as well. When you're in the classroom, make sure that you are putting your cell phone in the cell phone caddy during instructional times. You are only allowed to have your cell phone before and after school and during your lunch. And then the last thing is to address the dress code. Make sure hoodies and hats remain off during the school day, and that you are not wearing scarves on your head, do-rags, and that your midriff is not showing. And that is it for my updates. Now back to Mr. Hicks.
So thank you, assistant principals, and thank you, families, for tuning in to us today to give you an update. Again, I just want to do one more reminder. This was sent out by robo email that the return to school for hybrid 4 days a week is April 20th. Everything that our assistant principals said is very important. And we'll continue to update everyone with anything that's changing. We'll do our best to communicate that through robo email and through opportunities like this to get some information out to families. Again, if there's something we said that you do not understand, please feel free to email your assistant principal with any questions on your alpha, or you may email me, Mr. Hicks. Again, one thing I want to emphasize that's very important, many of you do activities and athletics and virtual clubs. As things change with the state, things may change with those. Currently, most of our clubs are virtual. We are able to do continue with some athletics this year, again with seating capacity and things like that. Our athletic director, Mr. Dodd, is handling that along with the coaches that will keep you as families updated with what's going on. Many of our seasons have been shortened, so please, as those things change, as they have been changing, our athletic director will do his best to give you updates as he receives that information. And finally, at Stafford High School, we really work to make this a really a community that we are all working together. Some things we've put into place, the students will come back. Many things you've heard from our assistant principals today have been safety things. But one thing we're really focusing on this year is our tribe values, our character traits: trust, respect, integrity, betterment, and effort. That's very important to us here, that we're all showing good effort every day and following those character traits and doing our best. All we ask of our students is to show up every day, try to get better than they were yesterday, and show great effort in the classroom. We know some students have strengths and some have weaknesses. We want them to continue to work to make their strengths better, and we want them to continue to work to improve their weaknesses. At Stafford High School, we always want all students to feel safe and comfortable and ready to learn. And an important point we're putting into place, and we're putting this in slowly because it is very different, is student IDs. We want students to have that on their person, whether they have it on their waist, around the neck on a lanyard, attached to their book bag, because that's on their person. That's very important to us, that we know who's in the building, so the kids feel safe at all times so they can concentrate on academics. With that said, I'd like to thank everyone for their support throughout this changing year. It has been very difficult, but I'm really proud of our students that have been in the building. They have shown great effort to do things a little different, and I know change is hard. And also, I'd like to thank all the students that remain virtual. I know virtual is sometimes difficult for students, but I appreciate them logging on, being in class on time, and doing their best every day. As a community, we have virtual students, we have hybrid students, but we're all one family. So continue to do your best and show good effort every day. And I am very proud to be the principal here at Stafford High School. So we'll continue to give you updates. I'd like to thank you for your time and attention, and have a great day.